Good afternoon. Am Barry George again. I'm on your way and looking at uh, the introduction to the course of the coming out with the uh, introduction to environmental economics. And the last time, the first time, the first stage, I will talk about so much about ecosystem and talking about the environment and others. Today we are looking at the terrestrial ecosystem. The important terrestrial ecosystem includes the desert, the mountains, hills, forest, and also the grassland. Then desert are characterized by low moisture level and also uh, rainfall that is both frequent and also predictable from year to year, with a little moisture to also absorb and also store heat daily, and also seasonal temperature can also fluctuate from 0 degrees centigrade at the night to 30 degrees centigrade by day. So the vegetation in the biomain is also spared, and also plants in this harsh eliminate. Climate also need a variety of specializations to conserve waters and also protect tissues from production. So seasonal leaf also production, water storage tissues, and thick epidermal layer helps also to reduce water loss, and also spines and thorns discourage predators while also providing shade. So common desert plants include the cactus and also the acacia. Also date palms also occur around oceans. So animal found there here include pocket mice, kangaroo, rats, and also camel. Then looking at the tundra. Tundra is the coolest of all the biomes. It is a tree-less biome. Tundra comes from the Finnish tundri, also meaning tree plant. It is not for also noted for its forest molded and also landscape. Then extremely low temperature, little perception, poor neutral, and also short grown season. So dead organic matters functions and nutrient pool. The two major nutrients are also nitrogen and also phosphorus. Nitrogen is created by the biological fixation, and then phosphorus is created by the precipitation. So characteristics of a tundra include extremely cold climate, low biotic diversity, and simple vegetation, also structure, limitation of drain of a limited of a drainage, then short seasons of growth and reproduction, energy and nutrients in form of dead organic materials and large pollution oscillation and so fluctuations. We are looking at the mountain, a large part of the forest area of the country and watershed also region is included under the category. There are 10 types which also represent major formation and also biomes. These are the tropical, wet, evergreen, semi-evergreen, moisture, most also, and dry deciduous, subtropical, wet, evergreen, and also temperate. And forest also, the forest ecosystem is also important for the humankind. The tropical forest on the earth, its surface also comprises a precious ecosystem of a very fine habitats, also the species, also an individual growth of interacting with each other. So the world has witnessed a major erosions of the forest ecosystem due to deforestation in tropical Asia, Africa, Latin America. So we are looking at the ecological goods and services rendered by ecosystem. Over the over the years, uh, human beings have derived a direct and free service from the biodiversity inherent in this ecosystem. So the service rendered are exemplified by maintenance of a gaseous quality of the atmosphere, which regulates the climate and biosphere process. So apart from carbon, the oxide absorption by plants, some other species and also ecosystem also emit trace gases such as methane, which act as a greenhouse gas for regulating the atmosphere temperature. So the terrestrial ecosystem have a direct influence on the precipitation and also the water that also infiltrate the soil. The groundwater flexes are also controlled by the plant flaxes. So earthworms, for example, influence the water storage, also capacity of the ground water profile, and also filtration also rate. So evapotranspiration by precipitation is the single also light water flex from the biosphere to the temperature. So regulation of floods and also drought is also a free ecological services rendered by the forest and also surface ecosystem and also coral reef, depth bank and sand dune, the vegetations and also mangroves moderate the energy of water and reduce the erosive action along shore lines and also hence help the protection of coastal zones. In fact, mangroves act as a buffer against the tidal waves, which also otherwise kill millions of people during cyclones and also storms. So the generation and the conservation of fertile soil, which are the basis of soil-based also productivity in agriculture and forestry, and also ecological service contributed by the ecosystem. So the entire process of weathering of rocks, also breaking down of rock creation of a new soil and stabilization is achieved through processes also operating at the ecosystem level. Then looking at the importance of human intervention on functions of ecosystem. Human also induced intervention have a direct effect on the ecological services rendered by the ecosystem. So some of the causative factors are change in land and water use, which in turn have a direct impact on the habitat destruction and over exploitation of the resources, and also indirect impacts on the composition of the atmosphere and also the climatics also direct affect the power system. Then there are serious consequences when changes occur in the land and water use, particularly major threats to forest ecosystem due to the conservation of forests into agricultural land, urbanization, over exploitation, overgrazing, shifting cultivation, and also biological invasion. So the change in the atmosphere composition takes place due to anthropogenic activities such as energy production and use and deforestation, coupled with also disruption in the geographical circle. So various human-induced activities related to land and water use and also atmosphere change also ultimately result in climate change. So we're moving on to the next one, where we are looking at another topic, and this topic is the meaning and components of environment. Looking at the meaning. So we say the classical economists at this their time made specific comment about the the significance of also nature and environment, but however, fail to include them in their explanation of theory. So today, people have come to realize that environment is not just the study of flora and fauna, but a synthesis, a combination of study of various branches of knowledge such as agriculture, science, philosophy, ethics, anthropology, amongst others. So agriculture as a field involves the interaction between the agricultural activities and the environment. It involves the interaction between agricultural issues like the application of fertilizers, water management, plant and animal diseases, and food also production. These also activities also affect the environmental and the natural resources. So farmers carry out agricultural activities without adequate insurance and also substantial measures to the environment. Why agricultural economics applies the economic principle to agricultural industries, and so environmental economics look at how and why people make decisions that the environment consequently also, and the role of economic policy in influencing this decision. So, therefore, a study of environmental economics calls for a detailed also understanding about various environmental factors, their influence on the economy, their functions also upon the environment, and their impact on the life and of the people of the present day. So we look at what the environment is. The environment could be also be the surrounding, the condition influenced by development and growth. So everything that affects an organization during the lifetime is also collectively known as environment. So environment can then be referred to as all conditions, circumstances, and influence surrounding and also affecting development of an organism or growth of organizations. The environment, for example, can be defined to include all the flora and the fauna and aquatic ecosystem, energy and material resources, and also the atmosphere. So environment also means the complex compound of physical, chemical, and biotech, also the factors that act upon an organism or an ecological community, and also ultimately determines its forms and survival. So in a nutshell, environment is the sum total of all external conditions that affect growth and development of all living organisms. For example, of these external conditions may be the air we breathe, the soil on which also we live in, and also non-living things around us. So the basic components of environment are: one, atmosphere or the air; two, hydrosphere or the water; and then three, living components of the environment or the bio of the biosphere. So these components also due to forests, uh, these components are due to forces like population explosion, pressures on land, environment, and over-utilization has given rise to modification or changes of the environment to cater, yes, for this. Then they tend to also threaten the environment in every the diverse ways, uh, which include one, the depletion of non-renewable resources. Non-renewable resources are those resources for which is no replacement or rate of growth so slow to invisible in human lifespan. So non-renewable resources are also known as the finite resources that do not renew itself at a sufficient rate for sustainable economic extraction in meaningful human time frame. So examples of non-renewable resources include the soil, water, wind, tides, solar radiation, crude oil, coal, and also natural gas. Supplies of these resources are diminishing at an increasing or alarming rate. The utilization of the resources of also energy results to air and water pollution, landscape also modification and meaning also mining damages. Two is the climate change. Industries activities have led to enhanced rate of input of substance in the atmosphere, also which has also caused a measurable rise in the concentration of atmosphere carbon oxide and also other greenhouse gases. A high concentration of these gases in the atmosphere act like a big blank around the globe, which also obstruct loss of heat from the earth also surface. So this effect is referred to as global warming. So this earth also trapped in earth atmosphere causes a discomfort in the climate resulting to process known as the climate change. Number three, we're looking at atmosphere turbidity. This is one of the greatest environmental issues that have great concern. The increased rate of atmosphere turbidity is also overwhelming. So industry produce hundreds of millions of tons of air pollutants also annually and also release also directly into the atmosphere, causing atmosphere turbidity. And then four, solid and hazard waste. Solid waste often referred to waste resulting from domestic, commercial, industrial, and also institutional activities in an urban area. So hazardous waste, on the other hand, is also the one that also possesses a substantial hazard to human health or the environment when improper treated, also stored, then transported, disposed of, or mismanaged. In most cities in the developing countries like Nigeria, the volume of solid water seen either at the city junction or at the entrance or exit of the city also emitting ammonium gas, also producing pungent or irritating odors and causing also aesthetic nuisance uh, is a measure of the content of the problem extent of the problem. Then we also look at the increasing human population. Uh, Global population increases has eventually put pressure on the level of natural resources consumption such that the needs for future generations are being threatened. So increasing human population has also resulted to unsustainable agricultural practice and also pressures also on land and thus leading to desertification, also erosions, pollutions, and example of unstable or unsustained sustainable agricultural practice include deforestation, overgrazing, use of human or heavy tillage machine, continuous fertility, also application, the indiscriminate bush burning, chemicals, weight and control, etc. Then the last one there, we're looking at the food shortage and the famines. These problems are exacerbated by other environmental problems such as population growth, oil, soil erosion, desertification, the climate also change, and the drought also we talk about. So we are looking now at the component. An ecosystem consists of the biological community, also biotic and also physical and chemical factors, the abiotic that exist in the environment. So the study of the ecosystem consists of the study of certain processes that link the living or biotic also components to non-living abiotic and link the living or biotic component to non-living or biotic component. Energy transformation and geochemical cycling also are the main process that comprises the field of ecosystem in ecology. To understand the ecosystem more cogently, ecologists also primary ecologists also ecologists also primarily divided all the participatory elements into two basic subdivisions, the biotic and abiotic also components. So we are looking at the biotic component, and we'll talk about the biotic component. These are the living thing or components of a community. It includes all living organisms that follows the process of birth and death. Example of biotic components are man, plants, animal, including reptiles, rodents, insects, also birds and fishes. So microorganisms, which is including parasitic and also saprophytic, also bacteria and the fungi, which feed primarily upon other living or dead organisms. And of course, of these organisms, plants produce this own food with the help of other biotic components like soil, nutrients, waters, and also sunlight. The process of food also production in plant is called the photosynthesis. All other biotic components depend directly or indirectly on the plant, which is the autotrophy or producers. For these all food and heterotrophies, including all the living things that also direct the ingest food. So looking at them. Then there are some creatures called the osmotroph, which also secrete digestive enzymes on other on their food that helps also to break it down to tiny parts they absorb. Then basic distinction between phagotrophies and also osmotroph and is also that the former eat their food directly while the latter convert their food into simple components and then absorb. So microorganisms belonging to this category, they play a very important role in the decomposition also of dead organic also matter. This is why they are called the decomposer. Then we're looking at the abiotic also components. These are non-living components of nature environment. Examples are the land, water, air, etc. So abiotic components are also said to be non-living chemical and physical factors in the environment which affect the ecosystem. So the role played by the air, water, soil, and gas are equally important for the birth and also growth of the living things. Like the life cycle, the non-living aspects of nature form a complex interrelationship among each other with the biotic component. So the abiotic component of the earth also consists of the following three main elements. The soil matters of the earth starting with the topsoil or dust and all its solid components. Two, the water in the ocean and the rivers, lake and pond, including the uh, marshes and also wetland. Then three, the gaseous compound around us, including the neutrons, nitrogen, oxygen, and water vapor called the atmosphere. So the radiant energy reaching the earth also from the sun is also considered as a biotic element. It is the constant flow of energy from the sun that allows maintenance of ambient temperature on the planet that also make life also possible. So we're moving on to the next one where we're looking at the meaning and importance of environmental economics meaning and so uh, we are looking at the meaning of environmental economy. So environmental economics is an aspect of economics which focus on how and why people make decisions that have environmental consequences and the role of economic institution, organization, public or private law, and also policy influence this decision. Two, environmental economics is a subfield of also economics that is concerned with environmental issues. Then three, environmental economics undertakes theoretical or empirical studies of the economics effect of also the national or the local environmental uh, also policies around the world. Issues of a particular interest include the cost and benefit of alternative environment policies to deal with air pollution. Then we also quickly look at the environmental economics. Can also be defined as a part of economics which deals with the interrelationship between environment and also economic development and studies the ways and also means by which farmer also is not inspired or decreased. So it is thus a branch of economics which discusses about the impact of interaction between men and nature and find human solution to maintain harmony between men and nature. Then five, looking at the environmental economic deal with the impact of economics activities on the environment. So the significance of ecosystem to the economy and suggest the appropriate ways by which regulating economic activity so that cosmic balance is also achieved in the society. And we're looking at the importance of environmental economics. And one of them is that environmental economics teaches us how to promote economic growth of a nation. And lastly, environmental damages. Then two, to restore harmony to reconcile the interests of human beings, nutrient, neutral and ecological reorientation of the economic policy is also required. Three, it's required for the collection of environmental taxes and charges. So this is now how used extensive in organization for economic cooperation and development nation. Then number four, we talk about the environment economy is used to address issues concerning individual, micro, and local, national, and macro decisions that have economic implication. Then we also say it is essential in environmental also policy decision making and forward also planning. There will also number four, six, environmental economics is essential in collecting, interpreting, and analyzing data of environmental issues. Then to seven, it is also required for formulation of suitable environmental policies that are also applicable to each nation and also at the same time to address transformational environmental issue. Then lastly on that, it says studies of environmental economics are used to determine the role or what role environmental economy can play to minimize environmental damages. And so these are few methods by which can be interfered. One, assign environmental cost to resources under use. Two, use price as a tool to avoid water of resources. Three, allocation of environmental resources based also on trust and true cost and also real benefit. And then three, four, resource conservation through environmental management. And then we say the relationship of we're now looking at relationship of environmental economics to the field. And number one, environmental and ecological economics, the insight also into sustainable provided by the mainstream ecocentric economics are taken much further by also environmental and ecological economists. The main area of concentration include the following: one, a classical classification of sustainable view according to assumption about the conservation of also natural resources. Then also the extending the analysis of externalities to also provide the basis for designing anti-population to pollution releases and deciding on the resources is also desirable to devote attention to avoid pollution and also rearranging of methodologies for evaluating the services provided by environmental assets and social capital to extend the inclusiveness of cost benefit analysis. Then the model for projecting the pricing and depletion of the finite resources. And lastly, the assessment of the implication of various also regimes, also government governing the harvesting of renewable resources. I think I'll be stopping here today and maybe we'll continue next time. And I think you should look at all the materials, then start your work too.